Hello, hello! It has been half a year, during which I've tried to take care of my plants, my newly adopted cat, and myself. 3 unsuccessful attempts at filming, a temperamental new mic and tripod later, and here we are. I got caught up in wanting to produce perfect or high quality videos like the ones I'm used to watching, and I let that contribute to my headspace of feeling unable to create new content, even though I only have one video. That, plus all the technical difficulties I encountered in trying to make higher quality videos, plus the omnipresent anxiety regarding our current world issues, really left me stuck. I think this past year has left everyone stuck. Nevertheless, I'm excited to try my hand at creating and editing videos and journaling within a community. The comments I received in my last video and other chatty, creative YouTube channels have helped me to snap the puzzle pieces of my sanity back into place. I made an Instagram to go along with this channel, which will be linked below, and if you journal along with me to this video or use my prompt, please use the hashtag #WitAndWhimsyWrites on Instagram so I can see it. The prompt for today is something meaningful that has been said to you, a spoken quote or adopted mantra, or a random act of kindness. Since interactions with other humans have been so sparse, I think it could be helpful to reflect and create something surrounding a meaningful conversation you've had. Family and friends bring a warm comfort in their familiarity, but have you ever had a brilliant conversation with a stranger or acquaintance? Maybe whatever you were talking about wasn't particularly insightful or even interesting, but the conversation uplifts your spirit anyways. And maybe this has to do with the fact that I'm considered extremely extroverted, dubbed an energy vampire by my friends. But sometimes you run into an acquaintance you secretly wish to know better, and you have that 5-minute conversation. It just leaves you feeling refreshed. And I think this goes beyond being extroverted. It applies to everyone. A good conversation, like a good book or a great song, pulls us out of our head. It's a wonderful kind of free magic, allowing ourselves to escape our problems that we've drowned ourselves in, if only for a brief moment. And while I would never wish anyone poorly, it is kind of comforting to know that others are struggling right alongside you, and that no, you're not doing everything wrong and everyone else has everything figured out. We're all just doing our best together. The tragically misspelled quote at the top of my spread, "We can pretend that typo was intentional irony," is proof of that. This is my version of a spoken quote turned into mantra. It was said to me by my immunology professor in a lecture my senior year of college, and it's really floated in the back of my mind, and I've forgotten about it until this year. I guess like the Avatar, when I needed it most. I'll be using stationery from my last unboxing video from Sora Asan's stationery bento box, as well as stickers, stamps, wax seals, and a plethora of other creations by other creators that inspire me. I'll do my best to link as much as I can in the description down below. The wax seal stamp and sealing wax you see me using currently is from Note and Wish. I'm not sure if you can really make out the design and the camera layout I currently have. Don't worry, that changes later in the video, but it's of a crescent moon with a cat. The journal I'm using is one from Jenny Bick, one of her handmade custom journals, and the fountain pen I'm using is near and dear to my heart from Yoshi's Pen 1811. Fountain pens. Probably going to make a whole video or series of videos regarding them, but that's for another time. Speaking of time, it looks like I'm just about to run out of it. My camera died, and that's alright because I had been journaling at that point for 2 hours, which seems absolutely insane, but it just goes to show you that it's alright to take it slow. It also helped that I was watching TV shows during that time, but in the break I was able to eat dinner, wash some dishes, break some dishes, we'll come back to that later, and finally decide on my layout. I ended up cutting this colorful piece of stationery from Sora's box in half and putting it on both the left and right, and using some more washi tape from Note and Wish. I've decided to set the theme to purple, my favorite color, because what else is more inspiring than your favorite color? The segment that I'm currently working on is for a little pop-out for a book list. Originally, I had just had a blank white piece of lined paper from Sora's box here, and I was going to leave it that way with a little purple wax seal embellishment, but I wanted more color. So I ended up peeling off the mini wax seal stamp very slowly and gluing down the new colorful assortment of paper, only to re-glue the wax seal stamp on top of it. And I'm going in with a Sakura Pen Touch pen in silver to highlight the embellishment. And now it's time for some fun little stamps. I'm using this collection that I got at Michael's ages ago. I think it was in the clearance bin of just tiny letters and spelling out book lists in purple ink. Something that I've had a lot of fun with learning to journal is layering. So if you don't like something, it's okay to peel it off or stick more on top of it. That usually works for me. A goal I have for this channel is to encourage a community, big or small, to journal more if they want to. I know it can be disheartening, whether it be your own schedule or flawless spreads that you see online, to get into journaling and moreover stick with journaling, but it's okay. Work at your own pace. There are no rules or deadlines, which can be as equally terrifying as it is freeing. And I'm not going to say don't compare yourself, because I feel it's only natural, but if you find yourself comparing amongst other posts that you see online or friends that you have with journaling, don't forget to also compare yourself to yourself, specifically your past self and all the progress you've made. Don't forget to acknowledge that. If you make one spread and it's a week or 6 months, it's okay. You made a spread, you made something. And even if it's just a grocery list, that's still writing. Take it one day, one step, one word at a time. Remember, excellence does not require perfection. Another trick that I've kind of stumbled across while creating spreads is I really like the way things look when they match across 2 pages. So if that's an aesthetic that you also like, that's a trick you can use. You'll see that I have purple on both corners of left and right, and I'm taking this brown paper from Sora's box, which I crinkled up to give it some texture, and putting it in opposite corners as well. I've also glued on that little tag that says inspiration, and I'll read it to you. Inspiration, noun, a sudden trigger by someone or something that stimulated a novel idea or encouraged someone to do something they never thought of. I'm now further decorating the tag with a little bottle sticker from Cheyenne Barton, who is rad as hell, and the other sticker I put in the bottom left-hand corner was from Cosmic Spectrum. I will link both of their shops down below. The clock stamp that I'm using on the brown craft paper is one of those clear stick-on stamps. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but you put them on a clear acrylic block and line it up so you can see on the paper where you want it and stamp. I misplaced my block, so I improvised using my wax seal stamps and just my hands, as you would for any other stamp. And back to the broken dishes side story. While I was taking my break between my camera dying and recording the second half of this video, I was washing my dishes and I broke one of my favorite mugs by dropping a bowl on top of it. Ironically, it didn't shatter the mug completely, it just broke the handle clean off. And I was moments away from throwing the whole thing in the trash when I realized I could repurpose it. So the cylindrical carcass that's left of my favorite mug, I'm going to use as maybe a pot for another succulent baby, for which I'll need a name. So please leave comments below with name suggestions, or another paint jar. I am now just fidgeting between stickers again, deciding for the final touches what I want to include out of my collection, I have been trying to minimize the amount of stationery that I'm buying, not because I'm a minimalist, but because I've amassed a hoard that a dragon would be proud of. So I want to see how much I can use that's already in my current stash. The stamp that I'm currently using was a gift to me, so unfortunately I won't be able to provide a link for it, but the ink that I'm using is one of the Versa Magic Dewdrop multi-surface chalk inks. I think these are really beautiful, and I think they're fairly affordable as well. They come in a variety of colors. Another one of my favorite inks to use is the Staz On inks. Those are very pigmented and you can use them on a variety of surfaces other than paper, so cardboard, plastic, even glass, I believe, if you're doing a variety of crafts. And you'll notice that throughout this process, I'm jumping around from page to page, from stickers to writing, to stamping, back to writing. Or maybe you haven't noticed and you're just leaving this in the background. That's totally fine. That's actually how I watch most of these journaling videos. But I wanted to mention that because sometimes, at least for me, it's really hard to journal in a linear process and left to right while writing. And it helps if I skip around. So maybe that's a trick that you can use as well if you find yourself getting stuck. And this just about wraps up the spread. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun. If you use my prompt, please be sure to tag me at WhitandWhimsyWrites on Instagram so I can see it. It would mean a lot to me if you subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed. I hope to see you soon, and until then, stay warm and whimsical and enjoy the snippet of my cat having his own catastrophe.